Layers of Fear 2 is the sequel to the Haunted House Simulator from the first game. And with this second one, developers have, to be fair, taken several steps forward, but if you're expecting a traditional, or I guess for me, an actual horrific game, you're not going to find it here. And we're going to keep the footage as generic as possible to prevent any spoilers and to avoid too many jump scares. But the story this time is that we are an actor on what appears to be the largest boat, I guess, ever made, probably like Titanic 2 or 3. And we are being tasked by the director to jump through hoops to get them to be part of the show. And of course, that is just the backdrop for more crazier and out there events. As with the first game, the core gameplay loop involves you moving from set piece to set piece, looking for clues and important lore drops, and solving a few puzzles here and there. Otherwise, the game itself does improve things a little bit in a few aspects. There are more areas that involve the player actually having to interact with the environment or avoid hazards, with the penalty being quote-unquote dying, and death just simply moves you back to the start of an area. But the real reason for playing Layers of Fear 2 as with the first one is definitely the impressive graphics and just the sheer WTF of what you're watching. And I gotta say, the engine for this game is really quite good. There are a few areas, when things get really crazy, that it just looks fantastic. Fantastic both in a crazy way and in that, gritty or disgusting way that we see from a lot of horror games. With that said, though, again, there really isn't a lot to talk about with Layers of Fear 2 as with the first one. And this is going to be a very quick review because, again, anything that I'm showing you is spoiling things. So I'll do this quick shout out to our Patreon supporters and sponsors. We're going to talk about how, despite the series moving forward, it still doesn't quite get the point of good horror design, in my opinion. And now for a quick thank you to our Patreon supporters and current Game Wisdom sponsors. If you would like to continue this discussion on game design, be sure to check out our Discord channel, linked down below. When it comes to Layers of Fear 2, as with a lot of indie horror games, the developers, in my opinion, just only get half the formula right for great horror. We have a very great setting, and the game does a decent job of presenting its unique area. But it fails to properly rise and control the tension of playing this game. And despite what other YouTubers and streamers will do, this is not the kind of game that you should be screaming every 5 to 10 minutes because something shocked you off screen or on screen. And my issue with the game is that there's just really no stakes in it at all. And it does very much feel like a haunted house kind of design. Many of the later parts in this game are just there to be like, look at me, I'm being all weird and creepy, and then nothing else really happens. And I'm sure for a few of you that will probably be enough to terrify you. But again, for somebody who has grown on the likes of Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and many other games, this one just doesn't really work. Now, like I said, to be fair, it does take several steps forward in terms of its design. I do like some of the new puzzles that are in the game, and again, showing any of them off would be spoiling things. And there are far more chase sequences compared to the first game, where the antagonist simply just stood in one spot, scared you, and then that was it. But it feels like there's still so much more potential that's being squandered with this franchise. Despite how beautiful these environments look, it's still 100% linear how you explore them. The game makes frequent use of points of no returns to force you to move forward and also prevent you from exploring and missing valuable items or lore bits. I do like the framing again of returning to a hub area and also making use of trophy room design with all your collectibles showing up in that space. But again, the whole point of exploring is not to unlock new gameplay options or anything like that. It's simply trying to find something to do. And when we played this on stream and we went through the entire game, I think everybody was becoming more bored with the game than they were interested in what was going on. And boredom is not what you want to hear in a horror game. And like I said, there are going to be fans of Layers of Fear 2, just as there are fans of the Outlast series, and many, and I do mean many of the other indie games. But if you're expecting depth on top of the great graphics and engine here, you're not going to find it. So with that said, we're going to wrap things up for this review of Layers of Fear 2. Like I said, if you're expecting more horror, it's just not here. But I'm sure there are people who are going to like this. It's kind of like, almost like an interactive movie in that sense. But for me, I think I would rather go back to the likes of Raccoon City, Silent Hill, or even that cabin in the woods from Evil Dead. But thank you so much for watching this video. I'd like to thank developers for giving me a press key to check out their game. If you're working on your own horror game or not that you'd like me to take a look at in the future, please don't hesitate to get in touch. But check back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where I examine the art and science of games. Once again, this has been Layers of Fear 2, and I will see you all next time. If you're looking for a book on design, my first title, 20 Essential Games to Study, is out now. It is available where most books are sold, and it comes in paper, hardcover, or digital copies. This is the perfect book for anyone interested in learning about game design, whether you are a student, enthusiast, or just a fan. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel link down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.